First pick.
Yeah, tell the chat what we think the first pick is. Whoa.
That's live.
Joey Porter Jr.
That's first pick for the. You think he's going to wear his dad's number if he goes to Pittsburgh?
Would be cool.
And welcome to the Miller Lite Green Light Livestream.
Howdy.
Thanks for tuning in last night. You know how much money we gave away?
$1 million.
Cash App, probably at least. And the folks can have another shot at winning some money if they drop some money in the or their cash tags in the chat.
There we go.
Got it out. Good picks tonight. Here we have
for the troops.
yeah.
Did you guys have any favorite moments from last night? Now that we've gotten some time to think about
Probably the 31st pick.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking 2 a.m. bedtime for this shit.
I also had a 2 a.m. bedtime.
Man, just like
I woke up to a text from Ralph at 4 saying that at 4 a.m. saying that he couldn't fall asleep because he had that Gatorade.
yeah, right.
Yeah, that Gatorade.
I stayed away from that. Those were terrible.
Favorite moment?
I'll submit one. I didn't catch it in real time, but now that I've seen Lucas Van Ness's dad with the double tap on his girlfriend's butt.
Yeah, I did see that.
Lucas Van Ness's
That'll
dad
live on.
saw JJ McCarthy's dad and said, "Hold my beer."
That was the J.J. McCarthy thing.
Yeah. Thank you, Nolan. And so for the folks in the chat, we'll just remind everybody, to my left is Chris Long. That's
me.
Kingston.
Kington.
Kington.
They call him in Philly.
Kington. That's Nolan, the green light draft expert. And that
Try to remember.
is Ralph Green. He's the man behind the green light.
That is
Social
the guy
media.
who does the socials.
Yep. That guy.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Who let's hear from the chat. What picks were you all stoked about, and what do you want? What players you want to see go,
Who are you
go
not
early?
stoked about?
Who are you not stoked about? We weren't stoked that Michael Mayer went early.
Or didn't go.
Or didn't go.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't stoked about the Saints pick. Me and Bo are kind of like, there's some people that weren't stoked about the Jets pick. You know, some Jets fans out there had something to say about it.
We'll hear from Jim Nagy later, but he was really high on McDonald.
I like McDonald.
To the Jets. He was
but some people didn't like it.
McDonald's a Reese's guy, a Reese's Senior Bowl guy. So we'll be able to hear from Jim later.
I trust Joe on even picks that I'm not sure about.
And it's interesting. They went Jermaine Johnson kind of late in the first round last year. Is that right?
Yeah. Maybe there's something there that they don't see, or Carl Lawson's he's had a couple injuries, right? And their edge guys aren't the strength of that defense. No. So you're bolstering a position that can complement what you already have in the middle. Did they make the pick yet? No, there's Andy.
Just sitting around, and hopefully in about 5 minutes we'll have Nicole Auerbach here with us.
Yeah.
And then 7:30 we're going to be.
They could use a tight end.
Michael Mayer.
Pat Fryermuth isn't good enough.
Get started.
Yeah, how about that? The Michael Mayer prayer is answered.
Do you like that Michael Mayer mashup that Ralph and them put out?
I did enjoy that. That was very funny.
Bussin liked it so much they just ripped the video. Tweet it.
I noticed that.
God damn it, Jack.
This guy's want followers so bad. I think they did it with 2 of the videos today.
They did.
We're just a little podcast.
Is there anything?
We need all
We're
the
boutique.
Yeah,
That's
man.
right.
It's just big pod picking on little pod.
Is there anything dumber than draft day grades like immediately after? Like I'm reading about which team gets an A, which team gets a D. It's like we don't know.
Yeah,
That's pretty dumb.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, it's really dumb.
We don't know.
Lions had C+. Everybody's like,
My dumbass is still reading it for some reason.
You don't know for 3 years.
But that's like in sports media. It's content producing more content.
Right.
I actually like I like doing redrafts, like looking back at an old draft and then figuring out what it should have been.
For sure.
Yeah, the redrafts are fun.
Read. Already tweeted.
Oh, cool. Thank you. You're right. Hey, that's your job.
So they say. Oh, brother.
It's a lot of people. I feel like these
people are in
war
here?
rooms.
A million?
At least in our group.
Yeah.
But I feel like there have been more and more people in these war rooms this year than there have been in the past. I mean, we saw the Lions. They had a small one, not a big. Well, at least we only saw half the.
We saw what the Rams are working with today. It's pretty nice.
Philly had like
they had like
whole,
everybody in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people working in these.
Like when you walk in a men's warehouse,
Yeah.
guys all standing there like this. That's how Philly was last night.
I want to thank everyone in the chat for calling into the voicemail line.
Oh my God.
We got some gold from you all folks. And also we had a couple repeat callers. They get back-to-back voicemails, which we appreciate, given the Philly love. So do it again tonight after your picks, before your picks. You see some viral moments, you want to talk about it? Call in. You might hear yourself on the Greenlight podcast on Tuesday morning.
We got a good one later.
Somebody said they were at the Alamo today. Huge war room. You talking about
That's an amazing joke.
Good joke.
Good one, Chris.
Hey, drop your cash tag. You get
Yeah, Chris, drop your cash tag.
Somebody asked, am I ripping a little CBD? Wink, wink. Nah. The real thing tonight. God damn it.
Right-handed cigarette.
Macon's laptop. How was it? Not that dirty, dude.
It really wasn't.
That was it's typical song and dance there.
He was pointing out dust particles. They were like on anybody's laptop.
Yeah.
that he
And then
wanted
when
to
you
do.
handed him the thing that was like,
Yeah.
like pretty simple.
Yeah, he didn't. He just press and hold.
That was
Point and shoot.
that chip taste, and then his reaction to laptop. Some of my favorites.
Yeah.
That's classic Macon. That's
That's
exactly who
When he
is.
took the air spray from me like the kid, that was hilarious.
Yeah, it was a child moment.
Yep.
I just bought
Somebody
it.
said how high was Macon last night. Macon doesn't get high, dude.
Nah.
0%.
He never gets high.
Kyle, you're not wrong with the first round grade on the nap weather.
I wake up to
Oh
a
yeah, I
text.
had a nap this morning.
Kyle texted me at 9 a.m. pouring rain. You going golfing today? I don't think so.
You wanted to go golfing today?
Yeah. I'm like, I do too, but it's a little wet.
We did have plans to go see a course, but
Yep.
it was canceled.
It's too bad.
For the folks in the chat, if you want to drop in, who's going to go to the Steelers right here? You want to drop in with your cash tag? You might win some money. Who's going to get selected? Who's going to be
Fanica.
called?
Wow.
Oh, wow.
He looks great.
Great.
He looks great.
Look at that hair.
Wow.
He's just,
Looks like Mike O'Hearn. That's so
There we go.
Wow, that's sweet.
Who said it?
Congrats.
That's fun.
All
that's
right.
awesome.
We got a couple winners. MJ, congrats.
Man, is he going to go with the same number? It'd be kind of tough to have a. Yeah, on the outside.
Corner.
Would be sick. Noah, what do you like out of this guy?
Yeah, I think you could argue he's the best press man corner in the draft. Just uses the length so well at the line of scrimmage, reroute, disrupt timing, runs really well. So he fits what they want to do. A lot of zone, a lot of thirds, quarters. So it's great fit.
Andy.
That's cool though to get drafted to your pops.
Yeah, that is sweet. So we need a shot of Joey Porter Sr. There we go. A live one, though. We need a live one.
That's awesome.
That's gonna be
That
pretty
is
fucking
sick.
cool for him.
Yeah.
College in Pennsylvania.
That was a storyline in the draft day movie.
And Reed, I think I see somebody.
Yeah, we do. We do have somebody. Yeah. We got Nicole. Yeah. Nicole.
Hi. Hi,
Thanks
guys.
for jumping on.
Yo, long time. What's
How-
up?
Are you guys still have energy early enough on in the multi-day process?
Yeah.
Gatorade Twitch.
Yeah, you want to
Ooh,
get
what's
some
that?
caffeine.
Yeah.
No, I had a 2 a.m. bedtime last night because of the draft. I was just lamenting that. So, how are you?
I'm good. I went over
Yeah.
to meet the new Big Ten commissioner today, so just settling back in to.
How was that?
It was good. I like him. He's seems pretty down to earth. So, yeah, it's been a busy week. Also had CFP expansion meetings and all of that, but I am excited. I love when they show the videos of guys getting the call. It's the best. It's just so
Yeah.
It is the
wholesome.
best. Do you have a favorite Big Ten kid taken yet? And is it the Michigan guy?
It's a good question. Well, I'm glad CJ Stroud went second. I feel like there was a lot of smoke screens and a lot of people taking a lot of shots at him. So I was glad that he went where he should have.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually like him a lot. He might be the best one.
Well, I think he's the best pure passer, but like really learned a lot from him in the CFP because he hadn't really played that well or that tough until that game. So I think that was great. And you guys would know more than I do about this new test that they had them all do, but just felt like there was just a lot of easy shots to take at people about something that I'm not really sure what it measures.
Yeah, they didn't have that when I was around, that test. What's the new test?
It's the S2?
S2.
Yeah.
What's that supposed to measure anyways?
Like processing speed.
Yeah. Which I suppose could be useful, but without like looking under the hood, I'm not really sure if I'm ready to take that one to the bank.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how are they conducting that? No, I'm hyped about Pittsburgh. They just picked Joey Porter Jr.
Another Big Ten.
Big
Former
Ten,
player.
Big Ten in the house.
Nicole, were you surprised to see Michael Mayer not go in the first round?
What's going on?
Yeah, I was.
slow?
Although like Dalton Kincaid is also awesome. So I was not
Yeah.
like going to be bummed whoever became the first tight end drafted. But yeah, Michael Mayer is awesome. And he was basically, this is going to oversimplify a lot, but like he was basically Notre Dame's entire offense. And so like part of the problem that they had, especially early, was like it's kind of not good when your best player is your tight end and other teams know that. But yeah, he's a dude. And I just feel like the way that tight ends who are really good pass catchers are used these days, I was definitely a little surprised by that.
Yeah.
It seemed like there were a couple, and as we see the Titans trade up with the Cardinals for 33
Gotta be.
overall.
This is QB energy. This
It's-
is
yeah.
Mayo boy coming off the board.
Rand is looking
Okay,
excited.
Can I rant about that, the Will Levis thing
Please.
for a second?
Let's do it.
This was entirely an NFL draft media creation. Like people were carrying water for certain people to create interesting narratives. And like, I feel like he got caught in the middle of this to the point where like, then ESPN's going to keep cutting to him and he's going to look really sad
Yeah.
over and over and over again. And like, no one who really thought that he was going to go that high, like that was not coming out of the season, or anyone who would really watch him. People were not talking about him going high in the first round. And like, it just set up this whole thing. And then their weird made up statistic that they said about like 0.1% chance that he would have still been on the board. Like it just really bothered me. Like they built it up so that
That's another one I'm going to need to see
like
the math on.
They don't have enough data.
I have no idea what that math was.
Well, yeah, you feel bad for him. I guess he's still going to have an awesome opportunity wherever he's picked. But like if you kind of get driven up the draft board through this artificial process, the cameras are going to be on you, and that's like not even necessarily a fall. He definitely would have been the last quarterback out of that group I would have taken. And I'm surprised Hooker hasn't come off the board either.
Yeah. I mean, and again, like it's not like he didn't do anything to create everything that happened around him. And so that's where I'm like, a realistic approach for him was probably second round, maybe late first. And instead it was perceived as a fall. And that's the stuff that bothers me about this.
Could be him right here.
Oh, I'm hopeful.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Man, he's back home in Connecticut right now, watching this.
He's from Connecticut.
That's where he lives. Yep. And
So he went home.
He went home, and then he goes second.
Home.
Yep.
Good for him, though. I mean, you know,
he wanted to watch it. He's got friends and family back home, extended family that he's watching it with.
I hope he didn't let any media in the house.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great.
Power arm, the dreaded power arm. Tight NFL window throws.
Nicole, I want to ask you real fast. Jamir Gibbs. A lot of people were surprised that the Lions jumped.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I mean, they didn't jump up, but took him when he probably could have been available later. How do you see him fitting in with the Lions? They kind of already have a pretty loaded running back room already.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, like, that's actually one of the things I'm most interested in today is seeing how the rest of the Lions draft class is pulling together, right? Because a lot of people were just making a lot of comments about they picked two positions that are not valued as first round positions. So I'm going to reserve my judgment on the whole class until we see the rest of it. But I will say, like, Jamir Gibbs is really talented. He's really a great runner, and then also is going to be a factor in the pass game. I guess they felt that they couldn't wait, like that they needed that something was going to happen. And I think I saw somewhere someone was interested in like the 15 or 16 range, so he might not still been available. But I don't know. I'm a little bit of a softie for some of the running backs in this group. Like Bijan's awesome. Everyone's like, oh my God, a running back so high. Or are these running backs getting taken before receivers? But like, I do think these guys are special. When Jamir Gibbs, went into the portal and went to Alabama, the reaction was, oh crap, like that's another dude for Alabama. And they didn't quite use it. Like he didn't put up the numbers that I think.
Carries, yeah.
But his explosiveness in the receiving game was what he in the last 5 years, he had some of the best receiving numbers out of the backfield as a running back. So you have to think Ben Johnson's going to use him really creatively.
Well, they think he's special, use the word special. Like that's what, when you do that, you're saying this guy, we think he's like super best available, and they must have fallen in love with him. It's also one of those years where like, you don't prioritize running backs generally, but the group at large is not that talented. Right. I don't think it's like a high-end draft. We could all be wrong. This could be like the Mike Evans year.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. So, like by virtue of Bijan Robinson being fucking legitimately special, like you're going to pick him in the top 10.
Right. Let's see if it's Mayer here with the Lions.
Oh, Campbell.
Damn. Wow. Michael Mayer just can't get off the board.
Man.
Oh, you guys are like 10 seconds ahead of me.
Oh, sorry.
That happened to us last night. What do we think of Sam Laporta?
No worries. I mean, like this is okay. So this is also part of the thing. I did a story a couple years ago about like how the tight end position was having a moment. There are a lot of good ones. And also this is the Lions picking another Iowa player. It's like they only watch the Big Ten.
I know. Yeah. And this Howie Roseman, like, let's pick everybody from the same school thing.
And I mean, Iowa, the past 5 years has really been tight end U, right
up there, right?
Yeah. So I mean, you can almost hang your hat on.
Oh,
that.
look at Ray Agnew! I know everybody. It's fucking crazy. Like these draft rooms.
You're right.
It's like playing a
You've been calling
drinking
people
game.
out.
I wish. Yeah, I should be drinking.
Nicole, one last question.
Right?
Sorry, go ahead.
It's liquid death.
I was gonna say the Lions were the ones who drafted TJ Hawkinson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they love.
It's just crazy that Mayer's just sitting there, like
he's just, hanging out. You mentioned last night. Why are we shadow banning?
Yeah, he's getting shadow banned. When people get shadow banned, he's getting shadow banned. like
Is- or
online, your
is that
tweets
what-
don't
is that
pop,
what we're
and you're like,
referring
yeah,
to?
they're fucking with us. That's what's happening to Michael
Okay.
Mayer.
So he's being shadow banned. I'm going to start using that too. Don't worry.
Yeah,
We'll just start using it for someone who's.
Somebody's got it out for Michael Mayer.
He did something at some point.
You know,
He just
you know what's going to happen? He'll like fall to like the Ravens or the Patriots, and everyone will be like,
Yeah.
They always get these
Yeah,
guys.
watch him fall to the Pats. Be awesome.
I know.
Yeah,
And
that'd
then
be
they'll
great.
pass him up.
right.
Um,
One last question before we let you go. We were talking about Alabama a minute ago. How do you think Tyler Buckner is going to fit in now that he announced his transfer from Notre Dame to Tuscaloosa?
Okay, so I'm actually kind of getting concerned about Alabama. Like, I was not one of the people that said the dynasty was ending, but if you are bringing in another quarterback because you still haven't figured out who your quarterback is, it's never a good sign. Like, it's especially when you're saying you wanted to name a starter in spring, didn't think you had it, so then you're bringing in another who would have been a backup at Notre Dame. Like, they just got a lot of backup quarterbacks in that room. So obviously, like, someone will start, someone will play. But you know, they've just had this string of like really special quarterbacks. And so I'm a little concerned. I'm a little worried. I'm never gonna like write them off.
We got Bama concerns. At least there's a little familiarity with Tommy
Rees.
Tommy Rees.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yes.
that spring game. Go ahead.
I think he's got a ceiling. Like, I just think his ceiling is not that high.
Yeah.
They were pretty limited, no matter who was at quarterback last year. Like, they're gonna be like Sam Hartman. I love, excited for him, but yeah, I just can't get excited about Buckner.
Yeah, and Alabama in that spring game, Milroe and the other quarterback, they played well, but not as impressive as some of the past Alabama
What's his
quarterbacks.
name?
I think Jalen Milroe,
Jalen Milroe.
Milroe.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Nicole, thank you so much for jumping on.
Yo, Nicole,
we really
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, we're gonna sit here for another 3 hours.
Yeah, watch the rest of
Take
this.
this thing home.
Yeah.
All right.
Appreciate
Good
you,
luck.
Nicole.
Enjoy. Stay awake. All right.
Yeah,
Bye,
we'll
guys.
do our best. Later.
Nicole's the best. She was on the pod every Sunday. We would take a break between the 4s and the 8s, and Nicole would
She was
fill us
one
in
who
on
downloaded us on all college football.
She's the college football sports writer of the year.
Yeah.
Really great writer. I love read her pieces. In
Also,
the
her
Athletic
commentary just during like Women's March Madness is always
Yeah.
She's
got a good account.
great.
So yeah, like remember we praised John Phillips for like 8 minutes?
Yeah.
He's got like a minute of praise.
Yeah.
Like Nicole.
Unfortunately, we waited until she left.
Right.
And that's like life, man.
Yeah.
People wait till you leave. They wait till you leave the Zoom, and they're like, "That guy's a great guy." It's just like life, you know. I'm all about the Albert Brooks fake funeral.
Yeah. You want one?
No. Can I give you one? I'll be your John Hamm.
Yeah, sure. Mayor.
Hey!
Yes! Finally.
Yeah.
I love this draft. Raiders.
I love
Go.
this draft.
Yeah.
Did you?
Tell him to call Howie Long.
Yes.
Yes.
And make a relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get in touch with Michael Mayer.
Man. We called that. We called that right there.
Yeah, we did. We knew he'd get drafted. We don't like this
This first round
Virginia
talent.
guys, but come on, that's crazy. He's out here balling against us.
That's perfect for Vegas. They just lost their
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a new one.
Yeah. Shout out.
Hey, so
Foster.
far, man, I like the 2 players they drafted. They're 2 of my favorites. Yeah, good for you, Raiders.
The Raiders. Man, so we need it now. We need the camera because last night we had the camera of Hill of Michael Mayer getting a little upset about not getting drafted. Now we need the camera of him celebrating. We haven't seen it yet. Maybe he did what Will did and kicked the media out.
Yeah, where the fuck is he?
He was watching from home.
Gatorade Twitch. Hopefully it keeps us up all night tonight.
Michael Mayer.
So hopefully we have Ben Solak here in a second.
So from here on out, I can give you commentary on Darnell Washington.
Yeah.
Let's just ask Ben Solak questions about. Let's like just.
Is
see how
Solak
much he
coming
knows.
on?
Yeah.
Right now?
For, he said he was going to be coming on in a moment or so.
Can we get a new couch?
I would love to.
I mean,
we
this.
have gone furniture shopping before.
Hey, anybody want to buy this couch out there? $1,000. It's a nice couch. It costed more than $1,000.
You can hear him on the live stream yesterday talking about how comfortable it was.
You just got to come get it. If you want to come get this couch, bring $1,000. I'm making an executive decision right now. This is what an executive decision looks like. It's not as pink as it looks on the. You know what? It does have some sentimental value, though.
Does it?
I don't know.
I wonder what you're thinking.
No, you're thinking about sex or something.
Yeah, I was.
I'm thinking about the show
Oh, the
and the
podcast,
dog days.
yeah.
That's why, because I was surprised that you said that yesterday, because I thought there would have been some sentimental value when you were
No.
like, oh yeah, you coming back to this couch.
Now,
It's
if you
pretty
want to stick it like downstairs somewhere, is there room for it downstairs? Maybe we should put it on the wall where there's currently like 7 feet of scrap metal and an old chair that eats phones.
Oh,
You know that wall?
yeah. We can do
You
that.
think you
wall.
fit it on that
Yeah,
wall?
we can.
You think?
The old chair that eats phones. That'd be tight. We might not be able to use the sliding door that we
Oh,
love so
yeah,
much anymore.
yeah.
Or at least full.
You
We
guys
could
are-
put it
you
on
got-
the other side.
You guys are under the hood right now.
Yeah. Maybe we'll post a video later, show you, and you guys can decide where we should put the couch.
Or if you want to buy it for $1,000, you just got to get here like this weekend. I want to get like an obnoxiously comfortable couch, like zero gravity, like legs in the air, just
like you're
you
just
know.
floating.
yeah.
Shout out to Sean and MJ in the chat.
Definitely.
You guys won some cash money via Cash App. We're going to give out some more. Plenty of money. We paid, I don't know, millions of people last night,
Yeah.
at least via Cash App. Those wonderful
Conservative
people.
Number, yeah.
Yeah, on the Miller Lite live stream. But thanks to everybody.
Yeah. We stimulated the economy a little bit.
Boy, did we.
If
Boy, did
somebody
we.
said
Tickling
need
the
a black
GDP.
leather
You know, just all right. So Solak's coming on, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I just messaged him. So see if he pops
Ben.
on.
I'm
I
like,
mean, it's
Will-
not
I'm
like he's
like
really
Will
busy or
Levis in here,
anything. Yeah.
Imagine doing it for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, your sister's going viral.
Will Levis's sister.
No, his girl and his sister.
Well, I saw
Yeah,
his girl. His girl went viral.
And
Yeah,
his sister also.
because no one can decide which
Sister about
was
what?
who.
It's just being attractive.
Oh. Yeah.
And we also have Jim Nagy here at 7:45.
It is one of those things though. You bring like your wife or your girlfriend or
Yeah,
your
you're
baby
subject
mama
to
or
that.
your mom.
How
or
about we never found out who the guy was who got picked, and then the guy was giving him a hug, like his buddy was giving him a hug, or maybe it was a brother, and then he got pulled off.
yeah, it was
right?
Van Ness.
Yeah,
it was
his
probably like his frat boy buddy
right,
or his little brother that just is a total,
right.
fun guy
Yeah.
who's just
That
not
was
the
funny.
time. Tori. T-Holt.
Nice. They do need some
I bet
offensive
Solak
line
will
help.
know something about this guy.
Yeah.
Ask him about Steve
He
Avila.
looks
Well,
like a
first
fire.
we'll
I
ask
think
the
he's
green
mentioned
light.
it. I think he mentioned him maybe on
Yeah,
the
I
pod.
believe so.
First, we'll ask the green light genius,
Yeah.
draft genius.
GLG.
Nolan, what do you think?
This is the guy. I don't know if you guys saw that video of all the rookie linemen doing that all you can eat meat buffet. This is the guy who tapped out, which I thought was a red
Ooh,
flag
that is a
for
red
a lineman.
flag.
But
Wait, what? You gotta break that down for me. He tapped out of all you can eat.
all you can eat. they went
He
to like
tapped
a-
out of a meat eating contest.
Yeah.
That's
Tapped out.
crazy.
Yeah.
I see Ben up there.
All right.
You want to let him in?
No, we're gonna keep him out.
Here's Sean McVay, man.
Tapping
He really
out, no more
Ben,
meat.
what's
Hey,
up, brother?
Ben.
What's going on, fellas? How we liking day 2 so far?
We love it because finally somebody came to their senses and drafted Michael Mayer.
finally.
I'm not sure what happened there. The book on the tight end class was like everybody's hurt but Michael Mayer, and then we're just drafting Dalton Kincaid and a bad back before Mayer. I was surprised. That one took me by surprise.
And then they drafted the guy from Iowa. I thought Michael Mayer was like a dead ringer for Detroit, pick 7, like months ago.
Right.
Okay. And then they could have had him on the way back,
Right.
you know, for like 47 or whatever it was, 30, whatever we are. We've lost track, Ben. It's a long draft.
Yeah, it is a long draft. I don't know. We were talking earlier about what time we got to bed last night, and it was like 2.
Yeah, what
even
time
though
did you go to bed, man? You were probably buzzing.
Yeah. But Pacific time, I got to bed around like 12:31, which was nice. I'm in LA for the week, and so that's the cheat code. Yeah, I was on a pod with East Coast people there, and I felt poorly for those folks. So yeah, it was it's easier out here on the West Coast. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Hey Ben, I'm coming out to LA this weekend for Willie Nelson's 90th birthday thing at the Hollywood Bowl, and I'm wondering, as the Seahawks make a selection. I know Reed didn't have this on the card.
Yeah.
But I need a little intel on where I should stay. Ryan Russillo says stay near me at the beach. I say, yeah, that's close to the airport. I have an early flight Monday, but that's really far from the Hollywood Bowl, yeah?
Yeah.
So I don't live out here. I'm visiting out here.
Do you know anything about LA?
I know that I stayed at the Ace Hotel for this week, and it was very lovely. It's my second time.
Where's the Ace Hotel? Where's the Ace Hotel? He's like, I don't know. I've never been to LA.
Ace Hotel was downtown. That's what they tell me. I'm here in the offices now, which are in the Arts District. That's the full scope of LA I've seen.
Nice.
I've been out here working, man. I haven't done the tours yet.
Huh? He said
Simmons keeps him in the office.
Bill keeps him in the office. Is Bill still in LA? Maybe I should ask him.
Yeah. Bill's out here.
Okay,
Russillo's out here. Yeah. There are folks that are far more suited for your LA staying question than I am right now.
Well, Russillo just wants to hit like Manhattan Beach dive bars till they close. So he's going to tell me to stay in Manhattan Beach.
Russillo was tweeting about goblet squats this morning, unironically. That's
what was he tweeting about?
Goblet squats.
What the fuck is a goblet squat?
It's a squat with a dumbbell is what I'm learning. And he said, if you have embraced them in your life, go ahead and embrace
goblin
them.
Squat. I thought he said goblin squad. I was like, that's terrifying.
Yeah, that's a scary thing.
Ben, I want to ask you a question. We were talking about this earlier, and we didn't quite understand it. Draft grades. We see these draft grades, right? Like come out right after the first round, second round, all that stuff. And we're like, what, how do you
What's
know?
the point?
You know?
Yeah, what's the point?
Yeah. And you as a wonderful writer, I'm sure you have some draft grades out now.
How do you come to that conclusion?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, so right. So you asked what's the point? Here's my question. Did you click on it?
Oh yeah.
I didn't.
Oh yeah.
Now maybe you did it. I would click on yours. But here's the problem. Like it's just a reflection of the mock drafts, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, what did I put on the mock draft? Well, the fucking Jamir Gibbs is a reach. Like that's a C+, you know? Like how do you like when you have to make one of those, do you take anything else into account? Do you learn anything new about why they made the pick? Maybe that illuminates, if it's a good pick or not.
So I think like you'll throw in some like trade value stuff. Like, oh wow, the Cardinals got a future first next year because of their trading, and it's the Texans' future first, and the Texans might be really bad. So that's great work by Monty Austin for it. So that kind of like bumps the grade up, I guess. But in general, I mean, this is on the list of things that are made up during the draft process, and there's a lot of things that are made up. Draft grades is number one, right? We are just
that's
making content. The most important thing to me is I didn't write draft grades this year. Danny Kelly did that for us here at the Ringer. I told Danny before I write them, I want to see C's and I want to see D's. None of this, none of this soft grading. You see over these draft grades, like, oh, I hated every single one of these picks. B. When I remember back in high school when they hated my work, I did not get a B. Let's give out some real grades here now. I want to see a curve. I want to see bell curve average.
Yeah, when they liked my work, they didn't give me a B. It was hard. Hey, what do you think about Will McDonald? What do you think about Will McDonald? Some of the Jets fans are like, what are we doing?
I thought Will was going to be a first rounder. I didn't mind him as a first rounder. I was surprised he went before Nolan Smith. I remember we talked about Nolan quite a bit when I came on pre-draft. So if you're going to take if you're taking a light edge rusher, I want to take a guy that firstly can play on all three downs because Nolan is an impactful run defender, and that's not McDonald. And I
Yeah.
get why you want the length, right? McDonald's got vines and he's got some height to him. Like, that's exciting. You know, length is valuable, but he hasn't necessarily like come along as a pass rusher, even to the degree that Nolan has. And Nolan is younger with
Right.
less experience, right? I was not super shocked to see him go round 1. I was surprised to see him go before Nolan Smith. And then with the Jets, you know, it's Robert Saleh, and he knows what he's doing in terms of getting those undersized, explosive rushers to work, right? They released their draft video of him, right? Of like when they called him, and they were like, "We're gonna get you out of that 4-eye and get you into the wide 9, son." And like that makes sense. Like I get that for the Jets, right? They watch
that's
him
a
play,
great thing to
and
hear.
they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna get him in a good spot." So I get it. I just, I would not have bet on him leaving the board before Nolan. That was surprising to me.
It's also hard to make that adjustment. I had to do it out of college. Like when you spend 90% of the time inside shade of a tackle, converting a pass rush that way, you know, that's a tough deal to kind of like learn the edge rush like mentality every play. It's not just like, oh, here's drop back pass. It's the aggressiveness you play with your first step. The keys you read are totally different in a 9 out there setting the edge. Like, so although they're easier blocks to play, they can be tough to diagnose early for those guys. I'm actually coming around on Murphy. I'm coming around on Murphy. Yeah. Who got him last night? Bengals. What's that mean for our 2 guys there, the 2 edge rushers?
Yeah, so the Bengals are just in a spot where like you went and you looked at that defensive salary cap chart at the end of last season, and everybody who wasn't a free agent this year is a free agent next year, right? I mean, like the Trey Hendrickson deal is coming up, Sam Hubbard is coming up for them, DJ Reader is coming up for them. Like they just have very little money tied up into the future of that defense. And obviously they have the T. Higgins contract and then the Joe Burrow contract and then the Jamar Chase contract hanging over themselves. So they're in a position where they're just going to have to make financial choices. And so I thought the Bengals were in a perfect spot coming in around 1 to hang out, see if a good defender fell to him. And if he did, take him and just give yourself a little salary cap flexibility. And that's exactly what they did. Yeah. Murphy was like McDonald. I thought he was going to go round 1. I wouldn't have expected him to go top 15. Murphy went a lot more about where I expected. And then like, Lou Anarumo, man. Talk about like a guy who knows how to make dudes work. Like so good at coaching the skill sets. It's a good landing spot for anybody. It'll help Murphy out a lot. Yeah, lose the bomb.
Making Gunners calling me during a fucking live stream. Hey, Make, I'm on with Ben Solak on the live stream. Yeah. Is this an emergency? Okay. Hit me. You want to talk to Solak?
Yeah.
It's a real estate emergency.
What I want to know, Ben, are those the Ringer offices behind you?
Yeah. We got some folks. I don't know if you can see them. We're watching. Yeah, it's a good setup.
Yeah, we some green light internal text made it look a little prisony, but we want to make sure that it's good vibes over there. Good.
Yeah, I can open the door if I need to. I think I'm pretty sure they haven't locked it to get out.
Ben, what'd you think about Levis dropping to Tennessee, and what do you think of the fit there?
Yeah, so I comped Levis to Tannehill quite a bit, so I like the fit. If it works for me, I can see how he steps into the role. The Levis fall was surprising to me. It's much more typical to hear the NFL talk about being worried about a guy's character and having question marks about his personality, and then he still goes early anyway, as opposed to Levis, where I say most, not everything, but most of the pre-draft discourse was, man, he's a leader, he's a fighter, he's a competitor, he's a tough guy. Like we appreciate the way he plays the game, and then to have him take the big fall, right? Like I when I came on before the Super Bowl, I said like I think Levis will go high because this is just the sort of dude the NFL goes out for. I'm not sure this represents a change in the NFL's thinking so much as it is that they're just suspicious of this individual. They're just like not sure about Levis, the guy. I think that the prototype still fits. They're not sure if he actually is the prototype. With that said, like this area, you don't typically see quarterbacks fall all the way out of round 1 and then go really early round 2, because usually a team is traded up into round 1 to get the 5th-year option, right? This draft had 3 quarterbacks go top 10 and then no more quarterbacks go round 1, which is the first time that's happened over 50 years. Last time we had that, 3 top 10 quarterbacks, then no more in round 1 was 1971. So this coupled with like the pre-draft conversations around Levis and Hendon Hooker was really peculiar in my opinion. I don't think like this exact like sequence of falling and everything. I thought it was weird. But if you could pick a landing spot for a guy like Levis, you'd pick this offense. And so I think that it's to his benefit. Now it's his job to probably ride the bench for a year, which is not necessarily something he might have thought he was going to do, and learn from that and do a good job there. So it's a paradigm shift for him, and that's the important step for him entering the league.
And Tannehill kind of like felt a little heat last year with Malik Willis and some of the fan. It was mostly, Mingo, Ole Miss. So, you know, like last year, it was like, remember when Malik Willis completed a pass in preseason and everybody was like, Tannehill's job is toast.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, turns out the kid's got some developing to do. Surprise, surprise. But this puts more legitimate heat on Tannehill, I feel like, especially considering he's staring the train down right now. So what was it with Levis? I saw one social, maybe it was Rappaport. One of those knowledge guys was like, made a comment alluding to him being a lot or something, you know, like teams have kind of noticed that he's just a lot. What does that mean? Because I didn't hear any, like, it's not a character concern, but it's like more of a personality concern.
Yeah. So the way it was explained to me was kind of like this, which again, like this is just hearsay of hearsay of hearsay. I've not met Will Levis and I can't attest what he's like.
Yeah, me
but
neither.
The sense that the league got that was communicated to me was Levis tries really hard to fit that character of like, I love football so much. I'm such a leader. I'm such a tough guy that it feels inauthentic. It feels you know, like he's kind of stepping into a room and playing a part. Like I think we've all had that experience where we like meet somebody who like we've heard of them previously, and then we meet them and we're like, dude, like chill. Like you can just be regular. Like you just be a person. We don't need it to be all this. Yeah. And so I think that's the read that like the league got on him. Now, can you play football? Like this is where the pseudo psychology of the NFL and the scouting process of like, let's get deep into what motivates a guy. This is where it feels like it gets a little bit.
Cat or a dog? Are you a cat or a dog?
Yeah, exactly. There's just so much.
Ben, are you a cat or a dog? If I was a GM and I was asking you, what are you?
I'm probably a dog, but I think if you say probably, it makes you a cat, right? You got to be able to say it fully.
Right, because the dog's not sitting on the porch like.
Yeah.
Considering philosophy, man, like a cat is a thinker, you know, a cat, you know, I don't think it's a death sentence to say cat. I've been, you know,
no.
I grew up with dogs. I got a dog. I love dogs, but honestly, I'm probably a cat. And now I got to work on my answer in case I run into a GM. I can't be stumbling around it like this next time. I'm never going to get drafted.
Exactly. And then after you say that, we start writing shit down. Like, it's probably not a good thing.
Ben, last question before we let you go. Eagles, are we stoked?
Drafting's easy. People all draft is so hard.
Just have the best players fall to you every year.
Building Super Bowl contenders is tough. Like, come on, just where are the national champions from the 2021 Georgia Bulldogs defense? I'll take them. Yeah, they all play defensive line. Oh shucks, we'll just break the sack record this year. I was talking about it with Sheil Kapadia, who covers the Eagles for us, and the thing about it that like always comes to mind is just how the Eagles and Howie Roseman have such a clear way of doing things. And sometimes the way of doing things leads to like bad seasons and bad moments and like, you know, issues in here and there. But in like they have organizational clarity. They know how they want to do stuff. And so what that means is when they sit there at 10 with a pick they wouldn't otherwise have because they traded with the Saints and Jalen Carter's coming down the board, they know what to do. They go, okay, we know that we really value this position and these opportunities, so we're going to trade up and get him. Like there's just such a top-down organizational clarity from the Eagles that like when people ask how do the Eagles get away with this, it's by doing this. It's they don't make stupid decisions. They know what they care about, and then they go after it when they have opportunities to get it. And so that's how the Eagles keep getting away with this. I spent all last night watching 2021 Georgia Bulldogs defensive highlights, just laughing my head off. 4/11 of that defense is currently wearing midnight green. I'm chilling.
It's insane. Wow. It's awesome.
The Philadelphia Eagle Dogs.
And you know, you worry about Jalen Carter. You got two upperclassmen there.
Yep.
I mean, you know, guys that he came up with.
You got Fletch. You got BG. You got a locker room, man.
You got a lot. You got a lot good for him. So yeah, go Birds, man.
Thank you so much, dude. We will make sure to click on your draft grades.
Yeah, dude. Hey, Detroit C+.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it wasn't him. It was another guy.
Jim.
Fellas.
What's up, my brother? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Appreciate you having me on.
Dude, thanks for coming on.
Congrats on a couple Senior Bowl guys going first round.
Yeah, we were just and we just before I ran downstairs here, we're 5 straight here in the second round, so we're rolling a little bit.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been a good movement.
What's been your favorite pick so far?
Oof, man, that's a good one.
I'm full of them, Jim.
You know, my last team that I worked for was the Seahawks, man. So I loved Devin Witherspoon last night at 5.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like people probably felt like the Hawks were kind of stuck there. I didn't think they were going to go Jalen Carter. When I was there, we went down the Malik McDowell road, and that didn't turn out very well. And so I think that spooked him a little bit. And you know, Devin just plays the position how you know, that Seattle kind of prides himself on playing defense. He's a dog, man. And they just added another one in Auburn. Derek Hall is he's wired right for that program too. So they've I'm a little biased, man, but John Schneider's kicking ass right now.
I thought he might look at the Wisconsin D tackle. He's still on the board.
Yeah, Ben's still out there.
I thought he might. I thought Schneider might look at him.
I thought so too. We were last night. We were picking right before the draft. Each team picked. We were guessing who was going to be taken.
It's hard.
I threw out Benton, I don't know, 5 or 6 times in a row. You were talking about the Seahawks. They've got 2 corners now with Woolen being selected last year. They've got kind of a shutdown, almost Legion of Boom 2.0, right?
Build it.
Yeah, and they took Kobe Bryant last year too. So, you know, Kobe had like 4 forced fumbles in the first half of the season last year. He won the Thorpe the year before at Cincinnati, so he'll play the nickel. They kind of see him as a free safety too. But yeah, man, you guys were right on the Benton thing. I mean, John Schneider is from Green Bay, Wisconsin, and he still goes home to see his folks and every fall. So you can always count on John coming back in the draft room with like one Badger that like he really he really clings to. And he was really the reason why they took Russell Wilson. I mean, there's not too many times where like a GM, it was the GM's guy solely. But you know, they drafted Russ the year before I got there. I was in Kansas City before that. And I've seen the reports, man. I've seen the coaches' reports on Russ in that building, and I've seen John's report. So yeah, he always digs out a Badger. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do target Benton. But shoot, Benton might come off before they have another pick.
Yeah.
What do you think about the edge guys? You know, in total so far, like anybody you think was maybe a little overdrafted? Anybody that you think was a steal? You know. Go ahead with the Raiders and Tyree, the whole thing.
Yeah, you know, the Tyree thing, I heard he might fall a little further than he did because of a medical. You know, he was committed to come down here to Mobile and playing the game and had a screw in his foot. And there's some teams that were scared off by that. But I would say the steal to me, and again, I'm sounding freaking biased here, guys. I don't mean to, but like Will McDonald Jr., Chris, like he played 4 eye technique and 5 technique at Iowa State and still managed to get like 33 sacks in 4 years. Yeah. And you heard Robert say, if you saw the call last night with Robert Saleh, I mean, that's the first thing he said. He's like, man, we're going to get you out of that 4 eye technique, man, and get you out there to 9 and let you do your thing. And that's what he's going to do. He's an elite athlete. He's a 6'9" high jumper in high school. You know, really bendy athlete. Like, I'm not saying he's good a football player as Will Anderson. Will Anderson's a stud. But just as an athlete, he's a really high-end athlete, better athlete than Will. So, yeah, it's a good edge class, man. There's a bunch still left, too. We're you know, we just saw Derek Hall go off to Seattle. We're going to see a bunch more here in the next 2 rounds.
Talk about scouting and predicting edge rushers. You texted me something. I want you to I'll give the floor to you. Why don't you take it away?
Yeah, so Chris knows how much I liked him when he used to play. I'm doing the old guy thing. I can't read anymore, guys. So I held out for 47 years on the readers. And I gave in last year. But I was talking to a buddy of mine that works for the Pats now, and he was actually in Philadelphia with you. And and I told him I was coming on the podcast, and he was like, man, I still remember your report. And he was one of our scouting assistants. So those guys got to go through the reports and all that stuff. And he was like, and he remembered something. So here it is. We used to have to like write a little summary on every single thing about you guys. Like there's a toughness box, a competitiveness box, like everything, stack, shed. I mean, every position skill, every factor. And here's what he sent that I wrote about your competitiveness, which is I kind of remember writing this. Man, I feel like a young man when I wrote this. So I gave you the scale is
I felt like a young man when you were writing about me. Jesus.
Dude, so our scale went to a 9.0. I gave you a 9.0 for competitiveness.
Okay.
And I wrote, if this guy is not a 9.0, there is no such thing. You get energized just watching him. Rare passion for the game and rare on-field motor. Has drive to be great. The highest energy practice player I can remember seeing. Was the most intense player during quote unquote young guy Oklahoma drill on 10/18/07, and he wasn't even participating in it. So I don't know what
I wasn't participating.
you must have been all juiced up, like getting your young
Yeah.
guys going. But yeah, man, I want to throw that out.
That's funny, man. That's funny to read that stuff. I certainly don't feel like that guy anymore. You get a little older, you chill out a little bit.
I disagree. Jim, we play softball every Tuesday night with a little work group, and that comes through for sure.
Yeah,
you always want to know the score and how many we need to get, or how much time.
I tamper it down a little bit for softball, but when I was younger, I was a motherfucker that way. But yeah, no, it's funny, man. We're getting up there in years. I mean, golly.
Seriously.
It was funny. We had Theo Ash on last night, and he's real good grinding tape. He didn't even play. He's just like a football junkie. But the kid from Iowa got drafted, the linebacker. Maybe you could shed some light on him. But I was like, does he remind me? The way he was describing him reminded me of James Laurinaitis coming out. And I said, does he remind you of James Laurinaitis at all? And he laughed, and he's like, bro, that's like ancient film. He was like, he's like James Laurinaitis.
He doesn't even remember who James Laurinaitis is.
Yeah, right, exactly. What do you think of the Iowa backer in Detroit picking two guys in the first round who probably most people didn't think were going to go that high?
Right. I mean, obviously Brad Holmes might know more than me. I thought that they'd be able to get Gibbs late in the first. I thought they'd be able to get Campbell in the second. I mean, was it a little bit of a reach? Probably, just based on where other teams had him valued. But they got two good football players, man. And they were down here and they coached in the game a couple years ago. And just being around Dan Campbell and that staff, they got a bunch of former players on that staff. And they must have been the right guys. They've kind of built that thing on culture. So, it sounds like now they're trying to trade DeAndre Swift. But back to the linebacker, Campbell is kind of your throwback Mike Becker, because he's just a big ass dude. Like, they don't make linebackers like Jack Campbell much anymore. Most of these guys are 6 foot, 6'1", 225 pounds, runaround guys. But he's more athletic than you think. You see this big old white dude out there, and you want to kind of pigeonhole him. And the more you watch him, the better athlete. He seems to be. So no, he's a good football player. But I know Detroit's getting beat up a little bit right now, but he's a good player.
Talk to us, NFC North also, Darnell Wright in Chicago. Do you like that fit? And maybe he can stay on the right side and kind of let that offensive line develop a little bit?
Yeah, I think he needs to stay on the right side, man. I know that tackles have pride in being a guy on the left, but just taking you back to like a year ago at this time, we did all the work on Darnell's junior stuff, and he was playing left tackle. And we had a late grade on his junior stuff. So I went up there to Knoxville and spoke to the team after a practice. And, their staff was like, what guys do you want to meet with afterwards? And it was, Hendon Hooker and Byron Young, one of their edge guys, and Cedric Tillman, the receiver. Like, I didn't even put Darnell on the list because we had like a 6th or 7th round grade on him. And that's usually falls below the line for invites for our game. And then we get to this year's stuff, and on the right side, he almost looked like a different player. And everyone, points to that Alabama game against Will Anderson where he made a bunch of money. And then he came down here and just, he kicked ass. He's got the right mentality. And the Bears were down here. Ryan Poles, the GM, their head coach, their offensive coordinator was the head coach of the team Darnell was on. So, I mean, shoot, I was texting with Ryan Poles this morning, and he's like, Jim, I sat behind him in offensive line in the meeting room one night and just watch him take notes and watched him be attentive to the coaching. And that helped me help with the buy-in factor. But he's a nasty dude, man. He's athletic. He fits there. And again, I like the fact that they're just going to keep him on the right side, because sometimes you draft players and you ask them to do something they haven't done. And we've seen him do it, and it wasn't as good. So I think it's smart they're keeping him there on the right side, letting Braxton Jones, a young pup from last year, a rookie 5th rounder, kind of stay on the left side and get another year over there.
A lot of power rushers over there, some of the best rushers in the game use power a lot, and that guy's anchor looked pretty good to me.
And you weren't wrong with that tape from the Tennessee Alabama game. We were talking about it last night.
I'm telling you, that was one of the things that, to me, like watching Will's tape and this year, I was like, yeah, the guy's good, like no questions asked, but it's not a sure thing would I take Will before the other guys. Like, I don't think there's like this huge delta.
Right.
Well-
and it was impressive. Will shouted out Darnell last night.
Yeah.
He was like, he gave me problems. He was a great player
and that's
to
a
go
pro
against.
tackle.
Yep.
And there's a big difference. I can remember playing in the ACC when you play one of these Jakes from fucking Georgia Tech, and then you'd see Jeff Otah the next
You're
week.
right.
And you're like, okay, this is what these guys are going to be like.
So yeah, no doubt. That's cool. Will shouted him out. And I'm with you on Will Anderson. I saw a bunch of like Von Miller comparisons early on. I'm
Nope.
like, no. Like, who's even watching this tape right now? I mean,
No.
Von Miller was I mean, I hate the word freak because it gets thrown around way too loosely these days.
A
But
true freak.
Von Miller was a freak. And back to your point about playing against the ACC dudes, Chris.
Yeah.
I remember asking Coach Groh to watch your practice tape against Brick, just because I knew he was probably the best guy you went up against. And same thing with like when Lamar Woodley came out of Michigan. Lamar Woodley and Jake Long were on the same team, and so I asked the Michigan guys to watch that practice tape. And sometimes you got to do that, man, because you're right. I mean, you can go through an entire conference season and not face an NFL dude.
What do you think Will Anderson, comp thing can be a little worn out, but do you have a comp for him?
And like I've seen some Khalil Mack. I mean, the thing about Will is, man, I was up at a game 2 years ago. Might have been the COVID year. Might have been like his freshman year. No, it was 2 years ago. It was the year he had the big year statistically, and they got a guy on their staff, Denzel Duvall, who was a 2 or 3 year starter on their defense, but never really broke through and had a long NFL career. But as soon as he got done in the NFL, he went right back to Tuscaloosa. He's been there for like 15 years. He's seen all these guys come through. And I asked him on the field before the Tennessee game last year, I said, what's Will Anderson's deal? Like, how good is this guy? Is he the best you've ever had? And he was like, he is. He's like, because he's the most competitive guy we've ever had. And he's the best leader we've ever had.
Yeah.
They're like I talked to one of my Texans guys this morning, and they will readily admit that they probably overpaid in terms of the trade compensation for Will. But that's how bad they wanted that dude in their locker room. So like he's kind of a culture setter, if you will. And they're trying to set that now with D'Amico there. So they might have overpaid, but they're fine with it.
No, and I think he's a good player. And I think one thing about him is he's got really good football instincts. I mean, the way he plays blocks, the way he processes, you can tell he's a smart player. I do think his hands can improve. When he goes to power, I want to see a guy put the hands on somebody with some intent. And sometimes he's kind of laying his hands on. And I think he'll add more tools to the toolbox. He played in a 4-eye a lot, so just getting the reps outside will help.
Right. And Jim, last question before we let you go is so you do the Senior Bowl, everybody knows that. What you hit the draft, are you immediately prepping for next season or how what is your kind of schedule the next kind of work around?
Yeah, man. So we've got 3 young guys here, 3 young scouting assistants. I'm trying to get trained up to go work in the NFL after the draft here. And they've been working on this next class since like the end of December, early January. But excuse me, once we had this year's roster set, they've been on that. I usually stick with the current class till we get through the draft. But I got antsy a couple weeks ago. I started watching the 2024 guys a couple weeks ago. So yeah, it's definitely a year-round process.
Nice. And the Colts are picking. Will Levis is off the board, so I don't know what Jim Irsay is going to do.
Yeah. We'll see what Jim does.
I want to hear what Jim has to say about this pick, and then we'll let him go.
Yeah, and Kyle wanted to say Senior Bowl for life. Kyle Long in the chat.
Kyle Long in the chat.
Yeah. Kyle. Kyle was a cool player too, man. Because what did he start like 4 games at Oregon that year? And
he just was like, I think I'll play football.
Yeah. I remember he was a baseball player, right, at Florida State or something like that. And I was working for the Chiefs at the time, and he had 4 starts, and I was kind of doing the whole country for the Chiefs at that time. And I went into meetings and I stuck a really big grade on him. I thought I was like throwing big balls up on the table, and and here we go. He comes down to the Senior Bowl and kicks ass, and he goes in the first round. So. He was pretty. I mean, you guys had good genes, man. You guys good genes.
Kyle
really
ate most of the genes. Kyle. Yeah.
Those genes.
He was Pac-Man.
Yeah.
So who did the Colts?
So they're I think they're going to walk on the stage now.
Okay.
Let's see.
What's Jim Irsay got up his
Yeah.
sleeve? Who's this?
It
Roger
was
Goodell.
Roger. Yeah. Couldn't tell for a second.
Yeah, because he had that lighting.
Yeah.
Julius
Corner.
Brents.
Julius Brents,
See, one of your guys.
one of our guys. He made a big jump, man. So what number did he go? I can't see a TV right now.
44 overall.
44. So like, the last part of our process. How quick do I have here, guys? Do I got to wrap up?
No, you're good.
We're
I
hanging.
just wanted to get your your
You know how long the
thoughts on-
draft goes.
Yeah.
So so the last part of our process, guys, once our scouting staff feels good about where we've got everything, usually like the beginning of November, part of our process, then I call like over half the league and just get a upper level guy on the phone, and we go across the board. And so some teams are really forthcoming. They're like, we've got 2 4s and a 6 on him, or we've got 3 3s on him. So there's a lot of grade sharing that goes on. And back in November, when we were putting this thing together, Julius Brents was like a 4th or 5th round pick, right? And so now that he's going 44 overall for a big school player, like usually in the spring, if a big school guy, Power 5 guy, like has a really nice spring, good all-star game, good combine and all that, like you can jump about a round, right? Like Darnell Wright moved from the middle of the second to the top end of the first. I mean, so to move more than a round, he just moved a couple rounds, like more than 2 full rounds. Again, my time in Seattle, he's kind of a Seahawky corner. Like back when you came out, Chris, I don't even know if we were doing wingspan measurements back then. But since they've been doing the wingspan, Julius has the longest wingspan on record for any corner. So he kind of fits that mold, and just long, really good mover, like better mover than Richard Sherman was for a big, long, angular guy. But Richard obviously had the instincts and the ball skills and all that. So and then this kid was like an 11.6 broad jumper, 42-inch vert, like blew all the testing stuff out. So he was like a 99 percentile analytics guy when they broke down all those numbers. So that's a cool. Where'd he go? Indy.
One of the Cole Strange kind of guys, because wasn't he was like
Strange,
all-time tester, right, last year?
Yeah, and
on that little pie chart, not the pie chart, but it's
the spider chart.
Spider chart. His spider chart was like a circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
99.9 all over the place.
So that pick makes sense because their assistant GM in Indianapolis, a guy named Ed Dodds. Ed's got some GM interviews over the last couple of years. We were in Seattle together, so he kind of looks for the same. We're all kind of wired the same with those big long corners. So that one makes sense.
Nice.
Thank
you so much, man.
Thank you, Jim.
Good.
Yeah, guys.
download.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Good to see you, man.
See you guys.
I'm gonna try to still be competitive, Jim. I appreciate you, dog.
All right.
Later.
See ya.
Nice.
Lions just traded up too.
On that note, after reading that to me, I'm gonna go home early and let you guys take
Yeah,
care
I
of the
think
rest of the draft.
I think this is a good we
I'm
got
going home to put the kids to bed.
plenty
guys.
of Cash App money,
I'm gonna watch the rest of the draft with my 7-year-old.
and I'm sure he's interested.
Yeah,
when does his favorite team picks next?
Dolphins?
Oh, the Dolphins.
They pick
haven't either.
51.
Cheaters.
You better get home
I
fast
better get
and
home before the Dolphins.
to
Well,
watch
he's really into the NBA, so right now he's sweating.
Yes.
Who's playing right now? Damn, you're really into the draft.
Sacramento. But
Sac
they
Warriors,
haven't
baby.
started yet.
Oh, really? Who should I bet?
I think Sacramento plus 7.5.
Oh, yeah.
Kayvon Looney over assists.
Kayvon Looney over assists.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get these
That's
bets
an
in.
interesting prop. That game is like really close to starting.
I know. I know. It probably did start. NBA. Up. Yeah, 6.5. 8:15.
Oh, it's down to 6.5.
Yeah, so I'll bet it at 7. I'll buy it at 7. I'm buying the 7.
Do it. All right.
Go Kings, man. Go Kings. And then Looney over assists. You're getting a little bit of everything on this live stream here. NBA
Little
props. Oh, the props are
making
closed.
money.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys take it away. Good luck.
We're gonna, and for the folks, you
Yeah.
go hang out with the boys. For the folks, we'll watch this Lions pick. You guys can hang out with the Lions.
Yeah, we're not gonna go all the way.
Yeah. No, you guys don't want to be here for us, man. Rich
Those
said,
people
Rich said, I think I can't. Well, actually, now I'm going to screw it up because I can't remember if he said 150,000 people or like 500,000 people here at the
Wow,
draft.
they give up a 5th round pick to only move up 3 spots. They must really like somebody.
That's honestly, I like that trade. That's not terrible, and they have a couple late, right?
Would they trade to get here?
They just traded up to get up 3 spots.
I wonder who it is.
Yeah, same.
I'm going to stay for this pick.
But it's a corner.
See Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell might make an appearance on the Green Light podcast. Not to tease it, but
I'd say might. Yep. Definitely at some point.
those are cool sunglasses. I like those. Shout out to our buddy on the right here.
Blue?
Yeah. These the shiny ones that you can see the reflection on.
But to answer your question about NBA, I like the Lakers.
Okay. That sucks.
LeBron will not.
The Lakers.
LeBron will not want to go play a Game 7 in Memphis. They will go all in tonight.
Isn't that funny though? You're like, he's not going to let that happen. When he could have just last game been like, I'm not going to let game. Well, that what would they lose or win the last game?
They lost.
Yeah, they lost.
It was on the road.
That's what I'm saying. Why did he let that happen?
That's a good point.
I don't know.
Here we go.
I'm talking myself into betting the Grizzlies.
Do what you need to do.
I know.
I'll do it.
There you go.
There you go.
There's Ryan Branch.
Matt was all over it.
I said he's a safety, right?
Yep.
Good for him.
That's all he's
Alabama.
stuck it out.
He stayed.
Yeah.
Shout out, stay.
Yeah, he's the one guy that was like, I'm coming back. He was in the green room yesterday, didn't get picked.
Good for him.
5 guys didn't
Yeah.
get picked.
Good for
Everybody
him.
else
Coming
left
back.
town.
Didn't
Yeah.
have to wait too long.
No.
Yeah.
All right, you boys
Hey.
be breezy. Enjoy yourself.
And thanks everyone for being in the stream with us. We will be back early next week. I really like that. Macon wasn't wrong about that kind of layout there.
See y'all next week.
Walking down Brian Branch.
I'm gonna ask you a quick question.
We will catch you. We will catch you Tuesday. Back
See
with
y'all
Green
later.
Light.
Appreciate y'all playing. You gave away all the money?
Thank you. Yeah, we gave away all the money. Thanks for playing with Cash App.